In the territory of Hyrcania, people once lived side by side with the natural world in peace. That balance is destroyed when the barbarian ruler Anzis seizes his power and spreads ruin across the land. One day, Anzis's army raids the village of a young girl named Sonja, leaving almost no one alive. Many years later, Sonja is grown and searching for surviving members of her tribe. She carries a map of the forest, marking every location she has already explored. At a lake, she comes across a statue of the forest goddess and kneels to pray before bathing. At that moment, several beautiful creatures run past, fleeing from mercenaries hunting them. Sonja and her horse quickly hide and remain unseen until the mercenaries leave the area. When she emerges, she discovers the creatures lying dead, their horns removed. After riding for many hours, Sonja reaches a small kingdom that is under attack. She leaves her horse hidden in the forest and quietly moves closer to the village. From her position, she sees mercenaries forcing a massive creature into a cage. Suddenly, a horn sounds, announcing the arrival of Emperor Dragon with his soldiers. He is accompanied by a terrifying machine and his deadly assassin, Anisha. It is revealed that the mercenaries are capturing rare beasts for the Emperor's gladiator games. Dragon inspects the cages, carefully examining the results of their hunt. He then turns his attention to the prisoners and orders their leader to be brought forward. Dragon explains that he met this man many years ago when he himself was a slave. At that time, the man showed his contempt by spitting on him. Now in power, Dragon demands information about the missing half of the Book of Secrets. He wants to enter the Hyranian forest and claims the book will show him the way. The prisoner warns him that only those chosen by the gods may enter the sacred forest. Dragon rejects this belief, saying he does not trust in gods. Instead, he places his faith in knowledge, reason, and science. Angered by the man's devotion, Dragon orders General Karlach to execute him.
Meanwhile, Sonja continues moving quietly through the area and comes upon two mercenaries abusing a creature inside a cage. She confronts them for their cruelty and quickly stabs both men to death. Sonja then tries to open the cage, but Anicia stops her by pressing a sword against her neck. Sonja knocks the blade aside and steps back as Anicia warns her that the entire forest will soon be destroyed. At that moment, the voices inside Anicia's head urge her to kill. She suddenly attacks Sonja, and the two women engage in a fierce fight. They display impressive skill with their weapons as the battle intensifies. Anicia proves more skilled with the sword and manages to knock Sonja's weapon away. Sonja counters by as they struggle on the dirt, a crowd begins to gather around them. Sonja manages to lock Anicia in a chokehold while they wrestle on the ground. Watching the fight, Dragon remarks that it makes for excellent entertainment. Sonja is suddenly distracted when her horse runs toward her. Taking advantage of the moment, Karlach strikes Sonja and knocks her unconscious. Sometime later, Sonja awakens inside the invader's tent, tied to a wooden cross. Dragon questions her, but she refuses to answer. Karlach tortures her by pressing a sword into her wounds to force her to speak. When Dragon takes her map, Sonja breaks one hand free in rage and grabs him by his clothing. Anicia immediately raises her sword, forcing Sonja to back away. Dragon orders Anicia not to kill her, explaining that he wants Sonja alive for the gladiator games. As Sonja loses consciousness again, she dreams of the day her village was attacked. Her mother told her to take the children and flee into the forest. Young Sonja ran through the village trying to save other children. The invaders were everywhere, and she was unable to reach anyone. She could only watch as her mother was brutally killed. When Sonja awakens again, she finds herself locked in a cage with other slaves. The wagons transport them toward the capital city. Along the way, Sonja is forced to watch as men whip her horse. Overcome with fury, she attacks the guards and frees herself. Using her chains, she captures the man holding the whip. She pulls him down and tries to kill him. The soldiers overpower her and throw her back into the cage. Sonja loses consciousness once more. Sometime later, Sonja wakes and is shocked to see her mother standing in front of her. She quickly realizes it is only a vision created by a dream. In reality, the figure is an elderly woman. Startled and afraid, Sonja grabs the woman by the throat and presses a knife to her neck. She attempts to use the old woman as a shield. The other slaves explain that she is in the naughty pits, where human life has no value. They tell her there is no escape from this place. They add that if she kills the old woman, no one will care. A captain steps in, takes the knife from Sonja, and orders her to calm down. He warns that if she does not, he will whip her. Meanwhile, Maester Crudless questions why Dragon is so fixated on the Hyrcanian forest. Dragon explains that when King Anzis wiped out the Hyrcanians, the survivors fled into the forest. He says they took half of the Book of Secrets with them. Dragon possesses the other half, which has already achieved him major scientific advancements. However, he wants the knowledge that remains in the missing half. He reveals that the book contains a coded message that only he has deciphered. The message claims that a child who holds all the knowledge within will rule the world. Dragon believes the prophecy refers to himself. He says he needs the second half to learn how the prophecy ends. That evening, Sonja attempts to escape by climbing the wall of the pit. The other slaves laugh, insisting no one has ever reached the top. Sonja proves them wrong by steadily climbing higher. When she reaches the top, guards immediately surround her. She fights back, beating several of them. Sonja throws one guard back down into the pit. Despite her efforts, more guards arrive. They overpower her and capture her once again. Afterward, Sonja finds herself chained to her bed. The other slaves explain that the only way to earn freedom is to win every fight in the arena. They reveal that Anicia was once a slave who earned her freedom this way. However, rumors claim the voices she hears are the spirits of the people she has killed. Inside the castle, Anicia realizes she is nearly out of her medicine. She hides her empty bottles as Dragon enters the room. She reminds him that he promised to cure her condition. Dragon responds that he will keep his promise. However, he says she cannot become his empress until she is sane. He gives her a fresh bottle of medicine. Anicia drinks the entire bottle at once. After Dragon leaves, she looks into a mirror and believes she sees ghosts staring back at her. The next morning, the slaves are brought out to train for the games. Sonja meets a fighter named Osen. He is known as the Untouched because no blade has ever wounded him since his capture. Osen challenges Sonja to be the one to change that. He offers himself as the prize if she succeeds. Petra warns Sonja not to form friendships in the pits. She explains that friends may later be forced to fight one another. When the games begin, the slaves rush toward the blacksmith to claim weapons. Each fighter tries to secure the best equipment available. Because Sonja is new, she is given only a wooden sword and shield. She is also forced to wear a ridiculous and revealing outfit. The arena is packed with spectators, cheering for violence and death. Eventually, Sonja and Petra are sent into the arena together. Sonja refuses to kill an innocent woman for entertainment. Instead, she demands to fight the Emperor himself. Dragon laughs at her defiance. He signals to his guards, who fire arrows at Petra. Sonja rushes to Petra's side as she dies. She apologizes before Petra takes her final breath.
Soldiers flood into the arena immediately afterward. Sonja grabs Petra's sword and begins fighting back. She brings the first soldier down by slashing his legs. She takes his knife, her preferred weapon. With speed and precision, she kills the remaining soldiers by striking their weak points. Within minutes, all of them are dead. The crowd erupts in celebration at her victory. Even Dragon is impressed by what he has witnessed. Before leaving the arena, Sonja takes Petra's necklace. Later, back in the pit, Sonja gives Petra's necklace to Hawk, the man who loved her. Osen raises a drink in honor of all the slaves who died that day. Sonja begins singing a traditional hymn from her tribe in their memory. To her surprise, Dex recognizes the song and joins in with her. The following day, Crudless presents Dragon with an artifact called the Yoke. He attaches the device to the head of a forest beast using electricity. Dragon tests it with a remote control. The beast immediately goes mad under his command. Dragon is pleased with the result. However, he insists that the Yoke must also work on humans. Crudless explains that he has been experimenting on slaves. Unfortunately, the device kills every human subject. Dragon believes the missing half of the book will allow them to perfect it. He imagines creating an army of fully controlled humans. Next, Crudless shows Dragon a glowing, flaming orb. The orb now supplies power to the entire city. Crudless promises it will soon be converted into a weapon as well. Back in the pit, Dex asks Sonja how she knows the hymn. He notes that she does not look like a typical Hyrcanian. Dex then realizes that Sonja is from the forest tribe. He reveals that a group of survivors still lives deep within the woods. Sonja breaks down in tears upon hearing this. She insists they must escape as soon as possible. Their conversation is interrupted when the captain summons Sonja to the palace. She is forced to wear the humiliating outfit once again. Sonja is placed inside a cage and dragged through the city. The cage is brought into the great hall where a banquet is taking place. Dragon presents a massive map showing all the lands his armies have conquered. He announces that the forest will be attacked next. Dragon then displays the Book of Secrets. The sight of it triggers memories of sacred rituals from Sonja's childhood. That night, Sonja dreams of those rituals. She remembers her mother telling her to protect the book at all costs. In the dream, Dragon kills her mother and steals the book. Sonja wakes up in terror. She swears she will not allow that vision to become reality. Later, the slaves are forced into the arena to fight mercenaries mounted on horses. The fighters are clearly at a disadvantage against the mounted enemies. To survive, the slaves work together to attack the horses instead of the riders. They bring the animals down, throwing the mercenaries to the ground as well. The captain searches the pit for more fighters to send into the arena. Sonja complains when she is not chosen. The captain tells her that Dragon ordered her to be excluded. He explains that Dragon wants her to watch everyone else die. Before the next round, Sonja asks Osen to protect Dex. She then approaches the blacksmith to request better weapons. The blacksmith refuses to help her. Sonja threatens him, reminding him that she knows his name. Realizing she is the only one who remembers him as a person, the blacksmith gives in. Ignoring the captain's orders, Sonja enters the arena anyway. Two mounted mercenaries immediately charge toward her. Before they reach her, Dragon signals his guards. The guards shoot both riders, killing them instantly. Furious, Sonja shouts that she came to fight, not to be protected. Dragon tells her he only wants answers about the forest survivors. He threatens to kill every slave if she refuses to speak. At his command, all the remaining slaves are brought into the arena. Dragon activates a remote control. A massive platform opens beneath the arena floor. From below emerges a giant cyclops with a yoke attached to its neck. Dragon activates the device again, forcing the beast to attack. Panic spreads as the slaves begin to run. The cyclops charges forward, knocking several slaves into the abyss. Hawk bravely attacks the creature, but is thrown aside. Osen attacks next and is sent flying over the edge. Sonja notices the yoke controlling the beast. She makes a daring leap onto the cyclops' back. Using her knives, she stabs into its flesh to hold on. As the cyclops thrashes wildly, Sonja pulls with all her strength. She manages to rip the yoke free. The cyclops immediately calms down. It lowers its body, causing Sonja to fall to the ground. The creature raises its massive fist. It slams the ground beside her instead of killing her. Sonja begs the cyclops to stop. She tells it that she is not its enemy. She explains that the Emperor is the true monster. The cyclops charges toward the stands. It smashes the structure with its horns. The crowd flees as parts of the arena collapse. Several civilians are crushed in the chaos. Dragon narrowly escapes as Karlach pulls him away. Back in the ruined arena, the surviving slaves mourn the loss of Osen. Moments later, Osen climbs back into view and announces that he is still untouched. Sonja points toward a tunnel formed by the Cyclops' destruction. She orders everyone to run and escape through it. Sonja promises she will meet them later at the White Chapel. After the others flee, Sonja sneaks back into the palace. She moves through the corridors, killing guards one by one. As she fights, she repeatedly demands to know where her horse is being kept. Sonja rushes to Crudless' laboratory. The workers there panic and flee in fear when they see her. She surveys the room, noticing the twisted experiments. She then hurls a sword directly into the flaming orb. The palace lights flicker violently. Moments later, the laboratory explodes. The blast tears through nearby structures. Windows shatter throughout the great hall. Dragon is thrown to the ground, but survives with injuries. Crudless is killed when a shard of glass pierces his neck. As Dragon mourns the loss of his closest ally, Anicia informs him that scouts have already been sent after Sonja. At dawn, Sonja reunites with her escaped companions. Together, they leave the city behind. During their journey, Osen announces that he must take a different path. He reveals that he is a prince whose kingdom was captured by Dragon. Now free, he must return and rebuild his homeland. Sonja leans in as if to kiss him goodbye. Instead, she slashes his arm with her knife. Osen is no longer untouched. Later, the group stops to rest and tend to their wounds. Sonja and Dex speak excitedly about finally finding their people. They exchange stories about their childhoods. Suddenly, one of the slaves returns from scouting ahead. She has killed the other scouts. She brings one survivor back for questioning. The captured scout tells Sonja that Dragon's forces are following them closely. He says the army is only one day behind. Without hesitation, Sonja kills the scout. Sonja then pulls Dex aside to speak privately. She tells him to continue alone and find their people. Sonja explains that she cannot go with him. She believes she has already revealed their location to Dragon. After Dex leaves, Sonja urges the remaining slaves to escape as well. They refuse, unwilling to abandon her. Sometime later, Dragon learns that one of his settlements has been destroyed. Everything there has been burned to ashes by Sonja's group. His army will arrive within days. Dragon begins to lose control of his temper. Anicia mocks him and calls him weak. The two argue violently. Their confrontation is interrupted by Sonja's sudden appearance. Sonja throws a soldier's severed head onto the ground. She warns Dragon that matters will worsen if he continues sending scouts. In response, Karlach throws Dex's head at her feet. That night, Sonja notices figures approaching her camp. She prepares her bow, ready to fire. A man steps forward and reveals that they are the lost Hyrcanians. Sonja runs toward them in disbelief. She embraces a woman from her village named Hesper. The survivors explain that they encountered Dex, however, they lack the strength to fight the soldiers and save him. The Hyrcanians reveal that they possess the other half of the Book of Secrets. Sonja explains that Dragon will never stop searching for them. She convinces the group to take a stand and finally end the war. Moments later, they surround Dragon's settlement. They discover that his army has arrived, equipped with advanced weapons. Cannons fire from the fortifications as Sonja's group retreats. The explosions ignite the forest, spreading flames rapidly. As soldiers advance through the trees, Dragon tells Anicia that he will marry her. He orders her to bring Sonja's head. In the forest, Sonja's group hides behind trees and under bushes. They wait until the enemy is within range before launching an ambush. A violent battle erupts as explosions continue to tear through the forest. Both sides suffer heavy losses with each passing moment. Sonja leads her people, gaining the upper hand. She instructs them to run, drawing the enemy deeper into the woods. A few soldiers pursue Sonja alone, forcing her to fight them herself. She kills or evades them one by one with remarkable skill. Suddenly, Anicia appears to challenge her. The two women engage in a deadly sword fight. Their combat appears evenly matched at first. Anicia gains the upper hand and slashes Sonja multiple times. Despite her injuries, Sonja refuses to surrender. She strikes Anicia across the neck, forcing her back. Meanwhile, Hawk encounters Karlach and fights him in single combat. They exchange blows, including punches and headbutts. Karlach finally strikes Hawk with his axe and stabs him with a sword. At the same time, Anicia stabs Sonja with her sword. Just as Anicia is about to deliver a fatal blow, Sonja's horse tackles her. The horse lies down, shielding its mistress. Sonja climbs onto her horse and rides away, escaping the battle. Sonja rides to the lake, seeking safety and respite. She believes she sees her mother standing beside the statue. However, the figure is revealed to be the actual forest goddess. The goddess tells Sonja that the earth is bleeding. She warns that they cannot allow Dragon to succeed. Sonja protests, recalling that her prayers seem to achieve nothing. The goddess explains that Sonja needed to find her own strength. She tells Sonja that this strength is necessary to accept her destiny. To heal her wounds, the goddess immerses Sonja in the lake. She reminds Sonja that the fate of the world now rests in her hands. Meanwhile, the survivors of Sonja's group have been captured. Haspa addresses Dragon by his original Hyranium name. Dragon slaps her, declaring that the frightened boy he once was is dead. He accuses Haspa of abandoning him. Dragon shakes his head in disbelief until Haspa admits the truth. He searches Haspa's belongings and discovers the other half of the book. Dragon sees this as proof that the prophecy is real. He orders the mercenary leader to kill Haspa. The man refuses to harm a priestess. Dragon takes a sword, ready to strike Haspa himself. Before he can act, an arrow strikes and kills one of his guards. Sonja appears, her hair now a vibrant shade of red. At the same time, Osen arrives with his army to reinforce her side. As Dragon soldiers rush to fight the newcomers, the prisoners seize the opportunity to escape. They join the battle alongside Sonja's group. A former slave tackles Karlach and bites his neck, killing him. Dragon's forces, already weakened from previous losses, are quickly overpowered. They are forced to retreat. The front gate has been locked, but Sonja climbs the wall with ease. She enters the tower, killing guards without hesitation. Soldiers on the ground spot her and are struck down by her arrows. She leaps down and continues fighting them individually. Her new strength allows her to defeat them effortlessly. Inside a building, Dragon reads the other half of the Book of Secrets. He is disappointed to find it only contains information about healing, medicine, and natural balance. He considers these teachings useless and unworthy of his attention. Dragon collapses to his knees in frustration. He begs Anicia to confront Sonja in battle. Anicia refuses, fearing the strength of someone who can survive a fatal wound. Den tells her she will never become empress unless she protects Dragon. He accuses her of cowardice. He explains that the voices in her head support his position. Anicia becomes furious and demands to know how Den can hear them. Den admits he implanted the voices to secure his claim to the throne. Anicia realizes that the medicine she has been taking was actually a potion to drive her insane. Angrily, she draws her sword and stabs Dragon. When she looks down, she sees that Dragon has also stabbed her. They collapse together, mortally wounded. Outside, Sonja continues her fight against Dragon soldiers. She kills them one by one until no enemy remains. By the time she enters the building, Dragon is gone. Anicia tells Sonja that the voices are finally quiet before she dies. In the forest, a bleeding dragon falls from his horse. Sonja searches for him, following a trail of blood-stained pages. She finds Dragon at an ancient sacred site. He is tearing pages from the book, insisting it is no longer a weapon. Sonja explains that the book was never intended to be used as a weapon. She tells him that he twisted it to justify his tyranny. Sonja lists all of Dragon's crimes, holding him accountable. She also apologizes for not helping him when the village was attacked. Dragon admits that he is afraid of death. Sonja holds his hand as he finally accepts his end. Afterward, she returns to the settlement with Dragon's body. She instructs her people to bury him as the Hyran he once was. She emphasizes that they should honor the boy he was, not the man he became. However, Sonja refuses to return to the forest with them. She has lived her whole life there, and now wishes to see the world beyond it. Many months later, Sonja enjoys herself at a tavern. She impresses everyone with her skill and bravery. Her moment of relaxation is interrupted by Osen. He brings urgent news that her people need her once more. Sonja leaves with him without hesitation.